Islamophobes everywhere are moaning and wailing because the new Home Secretary of the United Kingdom is a devout follower of the religion of peace and tolerance. Shabana Mahmood, seen here delighted after tens of thousands of British girls' lives were ruined by her Pakistani cousins, is now one of the most powerful women in Europe. And Islamophobes are not happy about it. Tommy posted, Shabana Mahmood, who swore her oath of parliamentary office on the Quran, is to be Starmer's new Home Secretary. She will now be in charge of immigration and the borders. Here she is saying Islam to her is more important than anything. Labour need removed. Chris Rose complains, the UK now has a Home Secretary who previously encouraged mob rule after joining an anti-Israel protest which forced shops to close down. Shabana Mahmood is incompetent and dangerous. Eyal Yacobi, whose name sounds suspiciously Jewish, laments, breaking, Shabana Mahmood has become the UK Home Secretary. She is in charge of immigration, visas, and borders. Here she is at a rally calling for a globalize the Intifada. Rest in peace, UK. Islamophobes are throwing this tantrum just because Shabana Mahmood, peace be upon her, loves her religion.
On faith itself, Islam, my own religion, like a lot of practicing Muslims, my faith is the most important thing in my life. It is the absolute driver of everything that I do. I feel a very strong calling of my own conscience, and my conscience calls me to God. That is how I know that I am a Muslim.
Now, I'm just a silly American who's absolutely thrilled that the founding fathers of my country wanted to get as far away from this British dumpster fire as possible, so I don't even know what a Home Secretary is. Home Secretary sounds like someone taking notes and scheduling appointments. What is Shabana Mahmood actually in charge of? Let's check Wikipedia. Corresponding to what is generally known as an interior minister in many other countries, the Home Secretary's remit includes oversight of Home Officer ministers, law enforcement in England and Wales and UK-wide elements of policing that are not devolved, matters of national security and counterterrorism, matters of immigration and border security, oversight of the security service, MI5. Sounds like she's in charge of pretty much everything British people are panicking about right now. Fortunately, Home Secretary Mahmood has endorsed the all-party parliamentary group on British Muslims' definition of Islamophobia, which runs as follows. Islamophobia is rooted in racism and is a type of racism that targets expressions of Muslimness or perceived Muslimness. Awesome! Islamophobia is a type of racism that targets expressions of Muslimness. How does this work? Well, suppose a British Muslim declares on YouTube that once Western nations become Islamic states, apostates will be publicly executed.
This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah? There's a reason why there's a capital punishment. Because people like you, little weaklings who leave their religion and cause corruption in the land by spreading it, the capital punishment in Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt. And we're proud of that. Yeah? Capital punish will be applied in an Islamic state.
His words here are an expression of Muslimness because Muhammad commanded in Sunan an-Nasai 4064 and many other passages, whoever changes his religion, kill him. So, if a Muslim YouTuber says that once Islam gets the political power, ex-Muslims will be publicly executed, and you say, no, that's bad, you're a racist, and the British government will soon be storming your apartment in the middle of the night and dragging you off to jail. And for some reason, Islamophobes are worried about this. Bunch of racists. These racists are also worried because when Shabana Mahmood was sworn in as Justice Secretary, she took her oath of office on the Quran, a book that allows Muslims to break their oaths whenever it's convenient. As we read in Surah 66, verse 2, Allah hath made lawful for you, Muslims, absolution from your oaths. Islamophobes are also throwing tantrums because the Quran calls Jews, Christians, and other non-Muslims the worst of creatures. We're lower than pigs, according to the Quran. By contrast, Surah 3, verse 110 says that Muslims are the best of peoples ever raised up for mankind. The Quran says that Allah has no love for non-Muslims. That's why Allah just doesn't care what Pakistani Muslims do to non-Muslim girls. The Quran defines Muhammad's followers as people who are severe against disbelievers and merciful among themselves. So, Islamophobes are posting a bunch of the standard excuses for racism targeting expressions of Muslimness. But I'm not interested in any of that. There's a much bigger problem here. What's the real problem? Well, no one caught this, but by becoming Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood has just doomed everyone in Great Britain to charges of Islamophobia. Everyone, Muslims and non-Muslims, are about to be classified as Islamophobes. Everyone. Every last person in Great Britain will forever be an Islamophobe, all because of Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood. And I'll tell you why. In Sahih Bukhari 7099, Muhammad said, "Never will succeed such a nation as makes a woman their ruler." Women can't rule, according to Muhammad. If a nation has a woman as its ruler, that nation will fail. Why? Because according to Muhammad, not according to me, according to Muhammad, women, such as Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood, are intellectually deficient. In Sahih Bukhari 2658, Muhammad said, "Isn't the witness of a woman equal to half of that of a man?" The women said, "Yes." He said, "This is because of the deficiency of a woman's mind." So, women, by nature, have deficient minds. But women aren't simply deficient in intellect, they're also deficient in religion, and they're the majority in hell. Sahih Muslim 241. O women, give in charity and pray a great deal for forgiveness, for I have seen that you are the majority of the people of the fire. A wise woman among them said, "Why is it, O Messenger of Allah, that we are the majority of the people of the fire?" He said, "You curse a great deal and are ungrateful to your husbands. I have never seen anyone so deficient in intellect and religion, more overwhelming to a man of wisdom and reason than you." My goodness, think about the awful position that the UK is in because of Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood. Whatever happens while she's in office, everyone's an Islamophobe. No matter what you think about Shabana Mahmood, you're an Islamophobe now. If you think she does a terrible job as Home Secretary, you're an Islamophobe, because you're a racist for thinking that a Muslim woman is doing a terrible job. Who are you? You're one of the worst of creatures. She's one of the best of peoples. How dare you question anything she does? If you think she does a bad job, you're clearly just a racist and an Islamophobe. On the other hand, if you think she does a great job as Home Secretary, you're an Islamophobe because you're saying she's smart and that the nation is succeeding with her as a leader, when Muhammad clearly said that women are intellectually deficient and that any nation with a woman as a ruler will fail. So, if you think Shabana Mahmood does an awful job as Home Secretary, you're a racist, Islamophobic, hate-mongering bigot because the only basis for objecting to anything your Muslim superiors do is Islamophobia. And if you think she does an amazing job as Home Secretary, you're an Islamophobe for contradicting Muhammad's teachings about women when we all know that only racists and Islamophobes contradict Muhammad's teachings. Either way, you're a racist and an Islamophobe, which means that the United Kingdom is now the most racist, most Islamophobic nation on the planet. Oh, the irony. I spent the past 20 years of my life warning the people of the United Kingdom about what they were dealing with. And they spent the past 20 years of their lives calling people like me racists and Islamophobes. And now, they're all racists and Islamophobes, every single one of them. I hope they're starting to understand why we dumped their disgusting tea into Boston Harbor.
It just backfired on me. It just backfired on me. This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah?